In my last video, you saw my German girlfriend Laura experience some fun things here in the United States. Now in this video, we hit on some more important American experiences, and through these moments, I realized one of the main things that Germans love about visiting the USA. So buckle up. So we decided to take Laura to the Oregon coast.
We drove there, took the brothers, and booked a Airbnb, which was really cool.
Now we actually did an Airbnb and rented a house at Rockaway Beach, but on our way driving out there, we got a call that the power was out.
At the beginning it was kind of sad because we booked something else, but then we got a really good alternative. That was great. Luckily,
they were able to help us rebook to Seaside, and so we went to Seaside, Oregon. Seaside's actually the beach that our family always went to growing up, so we know it really well. We went into downtown Seaside, and Laura got to try one of the most famous American cuisines around.
The first corn dog.
Fun fact, German immigrants are credited with creating the first corn dogs. Nice. Your very first corn dog.
It better be exciting.
Yeah.
I was so excited because I never had a corn dog in my life, but then I saw how they make it, and then my excitement went like.
Look at that corn dog.
But the corn dog was fried for like 10 minutes in this oil. I don't even know how long the oil was in this hole.
Are you excited?
I don't know.
Laura's first ever corn dog. Corn dog.
Okay, I'm scared.
You should be. Pretty good.
Tastes like fried.
Yeah, it's just fried.
It's really yummy, and then you pretty quickly get sick of it because it tastes just like fat. But it was an experience, so it was cool.
So because we were at Seaside, it's only about 15 minutes away from the famous Canon Beach that has this big haystack rock. You might have seen it on Instagram or social media. It's pretty cool and famous, 15 minutes south of where we were staying, so we decided to drive there. And on our drive there, we ran into some unexpected guests. We saw a bunch of elk on the street. The most elk I've ever seen together in my life. Look at all those chickens. After a short chat with the elk, we made it to the beach.
Yes, so
It was cool.
Amazing.
Uh-huh. Once we got back to the beach house, then we kind of hung out. We all jumped into the cold winter Pacific Ocean, got really freezing, big cold shock there. It was cool, then came back into the house, got warm, and played Mario Kart on the Nintendo Wii.
Why are you so zoomed in?
And then, of course, we made Laura get a big old American breakfast. When we got back to Portland, we went to the world famous Powell's books.
That was the best. I could spend for hours in there. It's so cool. It looks like you imagine a bookstore to be, like how it should be.
And then another type of classic cuisine for us that is quite rare in Germany. Mexican food.
Oh,
What'd you think?
Yeah, I loved it so much.
Here, give me a little intel. Where are we? What are we doing?
We're in Si Senor. It's a family-owned Mexican restaurant here in Cedar Mill, Oregon.
Okay.
Just west of the city, downtown, off Highway 26.
Great.
It was so yummy. It's so sad. In Germany, we, like where I live, I don't know, probably in the bigger cities for sure, but like where I live, no good Mexican foods. We have one chain, but it's not really good food, and so that was really nice. And I got fajitas.
What did you think of the portion size?
Oh yeah, that was good. Good amount. It was crazy.
Then Laura and I headed slightly east from Portland over the mountains to Central Oregon.
Now, in order to make this journey, we had to rent a car. We asked for one that would be good going over the mountain and in the snow. They gave us this bad boy, a Jeep Gladiator, which looked awesome, but would later come back to haunt us. But first, a message from today's sponsor, starring my brother Andy.
Hey, what's going on? What's wrong?
Oh, hey. Well, I got all these book recommendations and I'm trying to read more this year, but there's so many recommendations and I can't decide which book to dive into.
Why don't you use Blinkist?
What's Blinkist?
Blinkist is this really cool app that helps you get all of the main points and information from nonfiction books. They have like 5,500 books on there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so just read the blinks of some of these books and it'll help you decide which ones are right for you to read in full. So it's really cool. Like you pick on a book that you want to consume. The blink shows you how long approximately it will take for you to consume it, whether you read it or listen to it. It gives how many key ideas there are. In this case, we have 4 key ideas. Who's it for, people who might find this interesting or useful, and then it goes down to the blinks. So I really like the blinks that are in the philosophy category. Just this morning I listened to Do Hard Things by Steve Magnus. I really like content and nonfiction books like this that sort of help motivate me. I mean, this blink was 18 minutes. I read it this morning while I drank my coffee, had some good takeaways that kind of inspired me to buckle down and get to work today and do the hard things. Yeah, actually, I have Blinkist Connect too, so you can join on my account for free.
Wait, we can share it?
Yeah, it's cool because then we can share and recommend titles to each other as well. The big new thing is this Blinkist Connect feature. Your blinks and their blinks remain separate. It doesn't get intertwined or messy, but you can recommend blinks to each other, which is a pretty cool feature. So guys, I highly recommend Blinkist. It's a really great app. I'm really all about sort of these apps or products that kind of help me become the best version of myself, and Blinkist is one of those. So use the link in the description to get 7 days free and then 25% off a Blinkist premium account. All right, back to the video.
Now, where were we? Oh yeah.
Even the drive was really cool because we drove over Mount Hood, and then it's so cool to see how the scenery and the landscape changes in Oregon.
The landscapes change so quickly. From Portland, 1 hour, you're at the beach, the coast, the ocean. 1 hour in the other direction, you're at the mountains, big snowy peaks where you can ski.
And then you come over the mountain and the trees were smaller, to no trees, everything is dry.
30 minutes past that, you're in the desert in a totally different type of landscape.
You look around and you see no houses, and like the street is one line. It's so cool. In Germany, rarely areas where you cannot see a house, and that's cool for me to drive somewhere where it's like just nature. That's pretty cool.
After talking with many people about this, I think this is one of German people's favorite things about visiting the USA: the geographical diversity. In Germany, of course, you have the mountains in the south and the sea in the north, but for the most part, there isn't this extreme change in geography or landscape so quickly. Just look at this satellite image and you can see pretty standard green all the way through. Whereas in Oregon and many other US states, for that matter, the landscape shifts so quickly from ocean to forest to valley to mountain range to desert, all within a couple hours.
Then we found ourselves in Bend, Oregon. We walked like 10 minutes from our Airbnb in Bend to the famous Deschutes Brewery.
Deschutes Brewery, that was cool. Bend is pretty famous for their craft beers, I think, and breweries. And it was really yummy. We had like good American burgers or like sandwiches, and we had a craft beer. I don't know how it's called, but it won a medal, so that was and it was really yummy. I actually prefer those kinds of beers than to the Bavarian beer or like to the German beers, because German beers are so pretty much always taste the same because they're like follow this law, and then there's not much to change, and there's just small changes, I guess.
The next day, this is the main point of our visit to Bend, we went to Smith Rock State Park.
Smith Rock State Park, yes, it was so beautiful.
It's about 25 minutes north or so of Bend. So we went there, it's the winter, it was really cold, but totally manageable. We got there was nobody there, it was empty. We are at Smith Rock Park in Central Oregon, just outside of Bend. Cold winter day, it's basically empty, and it's gorgeous here. So cool.
It was such an amazing day. We went there, it was like barely people. I feel like maximum 5 people or so. It was no one.
Really cool landscapes, just such harsh, jagged rocks coming straight up out of the ground. It's really cool to see and really fun to hike.
And then we started hiking.
Good stuff.
So quiet, I love it.
We are on the Misery Trail loop, but we're not that miserable yet.
Love it. And in the beginning everything was dry and we walked up and it was so cool to see everything.
It's so cool. The snowy peaks over there.
So we were hiking a little bit and it started to get a little bit colder.
And we were all the way up and it was like a little foggy and then it started snowing.
Here is the monkey face rock, but it's super foggy. Can't really see it that well, but it does look kind of cool. We got up to the top, we saw Monkey Head, and it has just started to snow. Really cool, but now we're going back down sort of an icy trail, so gotta be careful on the way down.
So funny, Laura is so fast at hiking. The Alps girl is beating the Portland inexperienced hiker. I'm catching up though. Look how fast you are. Yeah, you got your Alps legs? Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
We come down from the steep part of the hike, now we're on the flat part, we're right by the river. And we're in a race against the snow to get back to our car. Hopefully we can get back in time before we freeze out here. We finally made it around the last corner. We got super windy and icy and cold, but we're almost there.
It was so cool to see the change in the national park from dry red to wet snowy, and it was really beautiful.
Okay, we just got back to the car after walking all the way around, over and around Smith Rock State Park. Really cool. It's so snowy. We did it. Pretty freezing cold, but we made it back to our big, awesome Jeep Gladiator. We didn't think, you know, it didn't snow so much, maybe an inch or so, but we didn't think we were gonna have any trouble driving. But then we drove our Jeep Gladiator and we got stuck in 1 inch of snow.
And we had like this much of the snow and this huge truck couldn't handle a thing. It was like tires were like going crazy and that was so embarrassing. We were on this tiny elevation to go into the main street and our truck got stuck. What? We have this huge truck and what? And then this tiny car, basically a German-sized car, came and like just passed us and went to the main street and had no problem at all.
After much maneuvering back and forth, we were finally able to get our truck going again. But from there on out, we were very skeptical of our dainty Gladiator.
Now, another cool thing about Bend, Oregon is that it is the home of the last blockbuster video in the world. I'm standing in front of the last blockbuster in the world. We went into Blockbuster and it was so cool and nostalgic. I mean, I used to go to Blockbuster growing up. Basically every Friday we had one about a kilometer from our house, walk down there, rent a couple movies for the weekend. It was so fun. I loved it. So being in there really was a cool experience and just brought back so many memories.
It's so fun.
Isn't it cool? Uh-huh.
They're actually pretty smart because, you know, not so many people rent DVDs nowadays, so they have a huge merch section, and we did decide to support the store by buying some awesome Blockbuster merch. But it was interesting because while we were there were actually people coming back to return their DVDs and check out more DVDs, rent more DVDs, so the Blockbuster store is still working and in business. The people of Bend actually use it in that way, which is a pretty cool thing. It's kind of stuck in time. There's actually a documentary called The Last Blockbuster. Ironically, it's on Netflix, but it's about this Blockbuster in Bend. You can check it out.
So guys, thanks for sticking around to this far in the video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'd like to now give a shout out to the NalfSense channel. Some of you guys might remember I started it last year, but I'm reviving it with my brother Andy, and we're working on the videos together. So give that a subscribe and check out some of those fun, little, informative videos.
All right, guys, that is all for today. Thank you so much for watching my YouTube videos. I really appreciate it. I hope you have a lovely day, and I will see you next time.